Breaking news today in Major League Baseball. Just 36 games into the season, the Chicago Cubs have fired general manager Mark Roberts. After a 14-22 start, both parties agreed that it would be best if the two mutually split. Reports have surfaced and been going around in recent weeks saying that Mark was not taking his job seriously. Insiders report that he was not focused on development within the organization, which led to his departure, and that he had given very little attention to the farm system, and that he had done nothing in regards to scouting for the MLB draft that's just a month away. The report also states that Mark was instead focused in furthering his side interests, one including a startup wrestling promotion. So with just a month of the season complete, the Chicago Cubs believe that a new GM can come in and get the team back on track, and that it is not a lost season, that they continue to contend for a playoff spot. And the Chicago Cubs have stated that as of right now, Mark Roberts' time with the team is finished. Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob, and welcome back to episode number 11, and what is the finale of the Chicago Cubs franchise here on MLB The Show 22. Yes, you heard the news at the beginning of the video. Breaking news, we have been fired as the general manager of the Chicago Cubs after a poor 14-22 start, with reports claiming that we were not taking the team seriously, and that has led to our departure. You can believe what you want to believe if you think the rumors are true or not, but we are no longer the general manager of the Chicago Cubs. So this will be the way we wrap up this series. I know that I've done a very poor job this year of doing baseball content. Even back before the game even started, my excitement was a little bit low, and I should have probably just taken the year off in terms of baseball content, but I didn't. Instead we did wrestling for 5 months. We're back here with sports. We got the Broncos going on the series. We got the Clippers just starting also on the channel. So I didn't really think there was room for a third franchise series. So I got to give the Cubs the boot, in my opinion. Sorry for those who like baseball content, but it just hasn't been my year for it. And sometimes you just got to cut your losses. But today we're going to wrap up the Chicago Cubs franchise here. So what do I have in mind? Well, we're going to do a season sim just to kind of see where the Chicago Cubs would have ended up if I had been fired. And the way I'm going to show that we have been fired is I went into all the settings and I've turned everything to auto. So while I am controlling, quote unquote, controlling the Cubs, I will be doing no moves, so to speak. So we're going to sim the season, see what happens to the Chicago Cubs. We'll take a look at the standings at the end, take a look at awards, see what moves this team did while we were simming, and take a look at who was the awards and who won the World Series. So it's going to be kind of just a quick little wrap up. We'll simulate the season and see what happens, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's going to take me a little bit, so I will see you after the sim. So the reports say that we had done no scouting in regards to the season. So it looks like the new general manager came in, did the draft for us, and he had a home run of a draft, in my opinion. It started off with a 91 potential shortstop in Lyle Pena, 49 overall out of Jamaica. So he's got to have some time, but he's got high upside. Then he went and drafted Jim Madsen, an 86 potential 62 starting pitcher already out of North Carolina. We've mentioned how bad our pitching has been with this team, so that was a good selection. And then he picked a closer, potentially the future, Rick Nelson, the highest potential we have of the team with 92, already a 55 out of California. And then he picked Geno Foster, 51 with 76 potential center fielder, and then kind of missed here with Juan Ellis, so to speak. Already maybe probably reached his potential, but he's got really good speed, so he can steal some bases. And then Michael Clark was the final selection. 78 potential in the end is not a bad idea, as Madden 23 was updated. That's good to know. So a pretty good draft by the fill-in general manager. So as I was simming, here's our first trade of the season. It looks like the Red Sox trade closing pitcher Garrett Whitlock to the Cubs for Andrelton Simmons and Yan Gomes. Interesting trade. Simmons and Gomes are gone. We've added Garrett Whitlock, so very interesting. Also looks like Mitch Garver has been traded to the Mariners, so a couple of big moves around. Let's continue on. The Rays trade Diego Infante, Jonathan Aranda, and Yon Diaz to the Cubs for Frank Schwindel. So Schwindel is gone. Looks like the Cubs are indeed potentially selling. And the big one, in my opinion, Wilson Contreras has now been sent to the Tampa Bay Rays. We get a pretty good coup, I would say, in return. Xavier Edwards is a nice prospect, as well as Ian Seymour. But very interesting that Contreras is gone. I thought about potentially keeping him as the general manager, but it looks like the new guy has said, no, we don't want to do that. So Contreras is now a Tampa Bay Ray. Speaking of the Rays, they continue. They trade Carson Williams and Kyle Manzardo to us for Patrick Wisdom, so he's going to follow Contreras out to Tampa Bay. All right, so we've simmed to the end of the season. Despite some of the sell jobs, this team actually finished 81-81 to end the season, which means after the new general manager took over, the Cubs went 67-59. So I think it's safe to say he did a pretty good job in his season as takeover. So were we the right fit? Stats might show otherwise, but we didn't make the postseason. Had a feeling that was going to happen. We went 81-81. So let's see what did happen with the postseason. There's the bracket right there, but real quickly, we'll go take a look at the standings. Starting off in the American League, the AL East was won by the Yankees, who went 95-67. The Central was the Chicago White Sox, who went 91-71. And in the West, the Mariners, they went 93-70. Big win in Division for Seattle. And the two wildcard spots were the Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros. Looks like there was a playoff for looks like the Astros actually lost a one-game playoff to the Mariners for the AL West. In the NL East, the Phillies, 95-67, they make the postseason. The Central winners was the Brewers. They won our division, 91-71. We were 10 games back. We were second. The Dodgers were the best team in baseball, 103 wins, 59 losses. And the two wildcard spots for the San Diego Padres and the defending World Series champion Atlanta Braves. So, pretty good team. Let's see where we rank in terms of team stats first. Batting average, we were the 10th best hitting team in baseball, so we had a pretty good job with the bats. That was never really our struggle. As runs, though, we were a little lower, 17th in runs, so we got a lot of hits, didn't really cash in on it. Home runs, we were 17th. Ian Happ ended up with 32 home runs, where we got off to such a hot start to begin the season. ERA side of things, where were we on the pitching? As we scroll down, and we still struggle with pitching. We got better though, 21st, 371 ERA. Looks like a lot of the players did settle down in terms of pitching. Runs allowed, we were 20th, the 642. Home runs allowed, this is where we really struggled with to begin the season, and we were 22nd with 191. So the team did start to settle down, it looked like, down the stretch. And in terms of winning percentage, we were the 16th best team in baseball. So not bad, middle of the pack. It's kind of where I expected the Cubs to be. I didn't expect them to start off so bad, but sometimes it's just how the cards fall. We'll take a look at stats real quick. I'm not going to go into each individual's player stats, but I do kind of just want to see best average on the team was Seiya Suzuki in his first season with the Cubs. 292, 22 home runs, 64 RBIs. A very good season for the right fielder. He had a good year. Madrigal was second, 291. Hicks was third. Those are the two you want to see at the top two, Suzuki and Madrigal. That is your future. Nico Horner, 252. Kind of got off too cold at the end. Hayward also hit 252, which is very surprising considering his age. Our home run leader, which we did see, was Ian Happ with 32. Then it was Seiya Suzuki with 22. RBI leader is Ian Happ. So, who was the best slugger? It was who played regular minutes. So it's probably John Hicks. John Hicks actually did pretty good for us. Coming over from Texas for his first time this season. So that's a little pleasant surprise. Pitching side of things, we got better, it seemed like. Our best ERA pitcher, let's talk about innings pitched. Hendricks pitched the most innings, 292 ERA, 16-10. That's a pretty good season for Hendricks. Stroman, our ace, went 331, 15-8. So he actually did do a lot better than he started. Still worse than last season, but nonetheless. In terms of Wade Miley went 424, Alec Mills. These are the guys who ended up in our spots. The saver ended up being Garrett Whitlock, so he did come over from the Red Sox and helped solidify that closer position. 319 ERA, so that was part of the reason, I guess, why we did the trade to send Simmons and company to the Red Sox, is because we wanted a closer, and it seems like it worked out. Cody Heyer did pretty good as well. Rowan Wick. Chris Martin still didn't have a good season. It wasn't as bad as his 27 ERA when we started the sim, but he still did 497, which I guess at the end of the day is not terrible. So settled down a lot. I do want to look at some of the players that we traded. Where Angelo Simmons went to the Red Sox. He hit 219 over there in Boston. Yan Gomes hit 301 and 302 at bats. So nice for Yan Gomes in Boston. Tampa Bay got a couple of our players. Wilson Contreras ended up hitting 243 with 9 homers and 43 RBIs. I really was thinking about signing him to a long-term contract and continuing his run with the team. So fortunately, he ended up in Tampa Bay. We did all right. And then Patrick Wisdom and Frank Schwindel as well. 2 huge players Wisdom had 225 hitting, who hit 29 home runs, so that was a career high for him. And Frank Schwindel hit 258 with 21 and 70, also career highs in home runs and RBIs, even though the average did go down. So it looks like they all did pretty good, but we did miss out on the postseason. We'll sim it real quick. I'm going to do it, I guess, by rounds. Let me see if I can do this. So let's move to a team that's in the round. So we'll go the Brewers, just kind of sim. So the first round is over. Looks like, well, no, it's actually not over. Let's sim another game, another date. There it is. So the Mariners beat the White Sox 3-2 in the ALDS. The Red Sox beat the Astros in the wild card and ended up beating the Yankees in 4 games. Ouch if you're a Yankees fan. Boston beat them there. Brewers ended up beating the Phillies 3-1, and then the Padres won the wild card, but they couldn't beat the Dodgers in a series. So it's Mariners, Red Sox in the ALCS, Brewers, Dodgers in the NLCS. As Brewers are still our division leader, we'll sim to the end of this series. I'll sim one more game for good measure, and it looks like actually the Mariners beat the Red Sox 4-2. And then the Brewers beat the Dodgers in 7 games. So a Mariners-Brewers World Series. Who would have thunk it at the beginning of the year? How crazy is that? And we'll see who ends up being the World Series champs as we sim all the way through. It looks like the Brewers have defeated the Seattle Mariners. So the winners of the World Series comes for our division. In 5 games, the Brewers were able to beat the Mariners. The Mariners still can't get that first World Series title, but at least they made it to the World Series this time. We'll take a look lastly at the awards, just kind of see what happened. I didn't take a look at these. Looks like we got a couple of awards. I don't want to spoil anything. We'll start off in the American League. The MVP was Giancarlo Stanton, 333, 50 homers, 143 RBIs for Stanton. Cy Young goes to Garrett Cole, another Yankee, 21-5, 254 ERA, 243 strikeouts in a great season. Batting title was Stanton. Hendricks was reliever of the year for like the 3rd straight season. He's just too dominant, 46 saves. Rookie of the year, Spencer Torkelson of the Tigers. So he had a pretty good season. Hank Aaron was Stanton. And then a couple of gold gloves to go around. Postseason MVP was Mitch Haniger for the Mariners, and the World Series MVP Pedro Severino of the Brewers still kicking it at the age of 28. Hit 429 in that World Series run. National League, Zach Wheeler was MVP, 227 ERA, 207 strikeouts, 20-4 record, a good season for Big Zach. Cy Young, he also got it, obviously. Batting title went to Nick Castellanos, 311, 27 homers, 83 RBIs. Reliever, Blake Trinan of the Dodgers. Rookie of the year, Seiya Suzuki did get it. Had a feeling he was going to get it when I looked at his stat line. So Seiya did get Rookie of the year, so we brought him a little bit of hardware. Good for him. Hank Aaron was Fernando Tatis with 36 home runs. So the leader in the National League was only 36. So Giancarlo Stanton blew away everybody else. Kershaw was Gold Glove. We did get 1 Gold Glove. I did see Nico Horner got it at shortstop, and that was our only award of the season or the series, it looks like, for our team. We had a couple players in contention, but even though this hot start, Ian Happ was unable to bring home a Slugger Award. But that's going to do it here. The Brewers are your World Series champs. Just a quick little end to the series. Like I said, I did not do a good job with MLB The Show this year, and with, both the Broncos and the Clippers just getting underway. I just didn't really think I had time for 3 big series. I only really upload 5 days a week. I try to use the weekends to get ahead and stuff like that. And just having 3 series in 5 days, it just didn't really work out. I wouldn't get as much progress as I would have liked to do. So I got to cut the Cubs short. Plus, it's been like 6 months since the game dropped, and I've only made it a month in the game. So this is our way of ending the series. I'm sorry for those who did enjoy the Cubs franchise. I did not do a good job with it, but we'll see if we'll be back with MLB The Show 23. I have not decided if I will do it, but it's kind of another reason why I'm ending this series early. This gives me a solid 6-month span where I can kind of think about if I do want to do baseball content. But Cubs is over. Broncos and Clippers will still be going strong, and also I have some other plans in the works, specifically with another game, so I'll keep that in the loop. But I'm in the early stages of trying to get that going. It's a big project. If I do pull it out, don't want to spoil too many deets on it, but if I can get it going, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But that's going to do it here for the Chicago Cubs franchise. Can't speak. That's going to do it here for the Chicago Cubs franchise. If you enjoyed the series, the short series, and if you're enjoying the content though overall, make sure you drop that like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content here on the channel. I look forward to seeing you guys in the Broncos and Clippers series. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.